As we come back to Port Huron Northern High School, bottom of the third inning, 3-1, Port Huron High leads. Your crew of two on CPHS 6 on this Friday afternoon. Mike Mullins behind the microphone, Charlie Sensi taking care of the pictures for you as second baseman Eric Smith steps in now for Port Huron Northern. Recap the top of the third for Port Huron High. Scheffler let it off, getting hit by the pitch, was sacrificed down to second, did move over to third but did not score. So for Port Huron, no runs, no hits, and one man left on. Bottom of the third, leading off Eric Smith, first time up. He struck out for Northern. First pitch is a ball. Second delivery from Chris Ward. It's up and there's room. Seppo comes back and can't come up with it. It was a long run for catcher Dave Seppo. He couldn't come up with it. So it goes in the books as a strike. Count is 1-1 on second baseman Eric Smith. Big Red scored 3 in the top of the second. Northern answered with 1 on the bottom of the second. That's where we stand right now, 3-1 with play in the bottom of the third inning. Chris Ward delivers on the inside corner. It's a strike, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Marcus Williams, the umpire behind the plate. Joe Bennett, umpire on the bases. Chris Ward wheels, delivers, curve, and Smith goes down. Second strikeout of the day. And according to my stats, that's the fourth strikeout of the day for Big Red pitcher Chris Ward. Todd Murphy, shortstop Todd Murphy, steps in now for Northern. On deck is third baseman Brian Murphy. 1 out. Curve is fouled off. One strike. We go 1 down. We got the ball that was fouled back, so umpire Williams comes back and picks it up himself. 1 out. 1-0 the count. We're in the bottom of the third inning. PH leads by 2, 3-1. Todd Murphy, pitch up high, ball 2. First time around, Murphy was out short to first. As Northern went 1-2-3, first time up in the first inning. Chris Ward delivers. This will go out of play. And the count goes to 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. 1 down here in the bottom of the third inning. The crosstown rivalry and, of course, MAC Red Conference Division foes, Port Huron High and Port Huron Northern. Foul ball down the first base line. Now the count at 2-2. As we mentioned, Chris Ward on the day has got 4 strikeouts up to this point. Mike Sly for Port Huron Northern also with 4 strikeouts for the first 3 innings. Pitch down low. And we go to a full count, 3-2. Todd Murphy up for his second time of the day. Chris Ward delivers and gets by second baseman into right field, and Murphy singles. And with 1 out, Northern's got a man on first. Now here comes third baseman Brian Murphy. Last time around when Brian Murphy led off, Brian had a single. He got on base and he just took off with the first pitch. Let's see if that strategy follows here again. Bottom of the third. Chris Ward throws it over to let Todd Murphy know that he's thinking about him. Plate. Foul ball, and it's going to get out of play. Wind almost blew it back in. So strike 1 to Brian Murphy. Brian with a single, first time up. Also credited with a stolen base and scored the first run of the day for the Northern Huskies. In the second. Northern led off with 3 straight singles, getting a run. And we're not able to add to that 1 run, even after loading the bases. Todd Murphy at first, Brian Murphy at the plate. Count is 1 strike as Ward throws over to first. Chris Ward pitching for the Big Reds. Murphy takes off, and Seppo has trouble controlling the ball. Murphy goes down to second. So it's another stolen base. 2 on the day, and 1 to each of the Murphys. So Todd Murphy down in scoring position now for Northern. Count is 1-1 as the pitch was down low. Seppo had a hard time coming up with it. I'm not sure if he would have got him anyway at second. Brian Murphy missing on the change. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Todd Murphy at second. Brian Murphy at the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fouls it off. Fouls it over to the Port Huron High dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's 1 down. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Both starting pitchers have gone all the way thus far. As we continue here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. We're at Port Huron Northern High School. If you just joined us. Big Reds leading the Huskies 3-1. Huskies starting to score again. Chris Ward takes the throw down to second as Morris Hall ducks in behind Todd Murphy. He doesn't throw. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Brian Murphy. Kirk Connolly on deck. Ward delivers. Foul ball. Back over our head and out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. PA announcer John Brown asking for a little help in getting that baseball. The voice of the Huskies. Another foul ball, this one down the first baseline. And Brian Murphy hangs in there with a count of 1-2. There's 1 down. Todd Murphy on second. He got a single. Went down to second on the stolen base. Chris Ward checks the runner. Delivers. And foul ball out of play down the left field line. Now we need a baseball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And we're without a baseball. And a couple of them come in from the northern side. 1-2 the count. 1 down. Todd Murphy on second for Northern. Brian Murphy at the plate. Ward delivers in the dirt. Seppo does a nice job to stop the ball and preventing Murphy from going to third. Nice play by catcher Dave Seppo. Got down in front of the ball. And Murphy was frozen at second. So the count is 2-2 now. Runner at second, 1 out. Bottom of the 3rd. Brian Murphy, 3rd baseman for the Northern Huskies. Down to second. Has trouble controlling. Throw to first. He got him at first. Runner does move over to third. Second baseman Andy Cole, a little trouble coming up with it. Finally did. And made the throw to first. So it's 4-3. Out number 2. As Kirk Connolly comes up, the runner does move over to third. Kirk Connolly got a base hit his first time up. Ended up being stranded at third. We got 2 out now. Kirk Connolly, first baseman, soft liner, it drops in. And Kirk Connolly has got his 2nd hit of the day. And first RBI, and Port Huron Northern has got their 2nd run of the ball game. So Kirk Connolly comes through with a single. And now coming up to the plate, Wearing number 15, Jeff Land. He delivered the third straight single in that second inning for Northern and got the first RBI of the day for the Huskies. Score 3-2. We're in the bottom of the third. Port Huron Northern does have one run in. They've got a runner at first. Land lifts a fly ball foul. I don't think anybody's going to get to it. In fact, I think it's going to go out of play. Hewitt makes a nice effort to get to it, but can't come up with it. So the count will go to 0-2 on Jeff Land. Jeff with a single his first time up and an RBI. Ended up being stranded at second as Northern left the bases loaded at the bottom of the second inning. Huskies have got one run in. They've pulled now to within one run. It's 3-2. We're in the bottom of the third. Runner at first is Kirk Conley. Token toss from pitcher Chris Ward. Count is 0-2. Chris Ward delivers, struck him out. And that's it now for the Port Huron Northern Huskies. So they come up with one run on 2 hits, and at the end of 3 innings, our score, Port Huron High 3, Port Huron Northern 2. We'll be back with the top of the fourth inning after we take this time out.
You know, it's really boring around here.
No. Only if we had something to do. If we had some money.
That'd be nice.
Hey. Oh, you know, we could get some money. We were dope dealers. Just think about it. We can get a car. Oh, what else? We could get a big house with fenced in, maximum security. We could get breakfast, lunch, and dinner served to us. We could get some sweet clothes, man. I ain't joking when I say sweet clothes. We can get some shoes to match the clothes, the outfits. We could get, what else? We could get friends, man. I'm telling you, all kinds of friends. Now, what you think about that?
Man, are you crazy? Drugs aren't cool.
Last year, in the state of Michigan, there were over 54,000 arrests for driving under the influence. If you're going to drink, don't drive.
We come back now at the top of the fourth inning just to show you how things have warmed up. Despite the fact that we still have that southwesterly breeze, both umpires during the inning have taken off their jackets because we have warmed up considerably here on this Friday afternoon at Port Huron Northern. So we're all set to go, but we don't have an umpire behind the plate as Marcus Williams has shed the jacket, putting the protector back on. Just to recap what happened in the bottom of the third inning for Port Huron Northern. Todd Murphy with a single stole second, moved on to third, and scored on the single by Kirk Conley. So at the end of 3 innings of play for Port Huron High, they have 3 runs on 3 hits. They've left 4 men on base. And for Port Huron Northern, they've scored 2 runs on 5 hits, and they've also left 4 men on base. For the Big Reds here in the top of the fourth inning, leading off will be the first baseman, Tony Bloink, followed by the second baseman, Andy Cole, and then shortstop, Morris Hall. First time around for Port Huron High, Tony Bloink with a single as the third batter in the second inning. He ended up scoring. The Big Red scored 3 in the top of the second. Port Huron Northern answered with 1 in the bottom of the second and 1 in the bottom of the third. And at the end of 3 full innings of play, it's Port Huron High 3 and Port Huron Northern 2. And umpire Marcus Williams is all set to go. Sans the jacket, or the long sleeves anyway. And stepping in will be the first baseman, wearing number 22, Tony Bloink. Mike Sly on the mound for Northern. He's gone all the way, registered 4 strikeouts over the first 3 innings. It's a signal from catcher Duman and delivers. The inside, strike 1. Top of the fourth. Big Reds lead the Huskies by 1, 3-2. Foul back. And quickly, Mike Sly out in front of Tony Bloink, 0-2. Again, Bloink leading off for the Big Reds. He'll be followed by Andy Cole. And then Morris Hall as we get underway here in the fourth inning. Coming to you from Port Huron Northern High School. Sly delivers. Curve up high, is knocked foul down the first base line. Conley tries for it. Nice try, but couldn't quite come up with it. So Bloink will have life at the plate. Kind of a check swing foul ball. And Conley working hard to try to get to it. Couldn't quite come up with it. So 0-2 the count on Bloink. Andy Cole on deck. And the pitch. And a soft liner. Again, this is foul. And just out of the reach of first baseman Kirk Conley. Kirk getting a lot of work down there. At least for the last two, nothing to show for it other than some dirty pants right now. 0-2. First baseman Bloink up for the Big Reds. He's the leadoff batter here in the top of the fourth. Port Huron High leads by 1, 3-2. Sly delivers. Foul ball out of play. So Bloink still has life at the plate, despite being in the hole 0-2. For a moment, but let it go and drew the ball. 1-2. First batter here in the top of the fourth inning. Slide delivers. And gets the called strike. Oh, first out of the inning, Tony Bloink is called out on strikes. And that is the fifth strikeout for Mike Sly. Second baseman Andy Cole comes up. He was safe on an error first time up. Ended up scoring the third run for the Big Reds in that three-run rally in the top of the second. And he hit one down to short. Murphy had trouble. Ended up throwing it away. Down the right field line. If it stays fair, it's trouble, but it goes foul. So Andy Cole has one strike on him. We mentioned right at the start, and we mentioned it's been a windy day. If someone can really get it up in the wind out towards right field, the ball is liable to go a long, long way. One strike on Andy Cole. Top of the fourth inning. Cole steps out now. Second meeting between these two ball clubs. They both played their very first game of the year against each other in league play. Pitch down in the dirt. Gets away from Dooman in the on-deck circle. Morris Hall picks it up. 1-1 the count. One down. Huskies back up the middle. So first Smith kind of lobs it over, kind of took his time, gets the call, and Cole goes out 4-3. That's the second out of the inning. Eric Smith kind of took his time in getting the ball over to first baseman Conley. Joe Bennett waved him out, so there's two down now as the leadoff batter in the lineup for the Big Reds, Morris Hall, steps in. Morris been up twice thus far in the ball game. Struck out first time around. Second time out was safe on an error. And what looked like could have been or might have been a double play ball was thrown into right field, and Hall was safe on the air. Ended up being stranded at second base. First pitch is a strike. On the call from umpire Marcus Williams. 2 down here in the top of the fourth. Big Reds with the 3 in the top of the second. They lead in the ball game 3-2. Northern coming back with 1 in the bottom of the second and 1 in the bottom of the third. 2 out. Morris Hall, shortstop for the Big Reds. Curve down in the dirt. Count goes to 1-1. Looking ahead to the bottom of the fourth for Northern, they'll have Weiss, Duman, and Gladchin in that order batting. One and 1 the count. There's 2 down. Nobody on base. Morris Hall at the plate, looking for his first hit of the day for the Big Reds. Back up the middle. Murphy can't come up with it, and Hall's got his first hit. A single right back up the middle. And stepping in for the Big Reds, right fielder Jim Hewitt. Jim's been up twice. First time up in the first inning, went out second to first. Second time around, struck out. So there's 2 out. Man at first is Morris Hall. Jim Hewitt at the plate, and Aaron Carpenter on deck for the Big Reds. Top of the fourth inning. Slide checks Hall at first, comes to the plate. Hewitt, right to Smith, and he takes it himself, steps on second. And the force at second. We played 3.5 innings of play, and our score, Port Huron High 3, Port Huron Northern 2. Northern coming to bat in the bottom of the fourth right after this.
After dating the guy forever, you think I could tell him anything. Why is this so hard? I'm really scared.
It takes a lot of guts to tell someone he's too drunk to drive. But you can do it. Just say it. Because if you don't, there may be nothing left to say.
Kevin, I'm gonna drive.
Take the keys, call a cab, take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
I come from a railroading family. My great-grandfather was a boilermaker, my grandfather a switch engine foreman, and I worked summers for the railroad. So I understand the fear and frustration of seeing someone on the track and not being able to do anything about it. The people in this cab are professionals, but they can't stop this train quickly. Before you cross any railroad track, look, listen, and live.
Just to recap the top of the fourth inning, the Big Reds, after 2 are out, got a single from Morris Hall, but the fielder's choice, and the Big Reds no runs and 1 hit, 1 runner left on. Big Reds have now stranded 5 runners. We're just doing some telling here between the innings. Chris Ward with the 5 strikeouts for the Big Reds, and Mike Sly also 5 strikeouts for the Huskies. Leading off is Brian Weiss, the right fielder for Northern. First pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. Brian wearing number 11. Wind's still blowing at a pretty good clip, though maybe not quite as strong as it was a little bit earlier in the contest. Pitch on the outside corner, strike 2, called by umpire Marcus Williams. Marcus behind the plate, on the base is Joe Bennett. No balls, 2 strikes. Leadoff batter for Northern, Brian Weiss. Pitch in the outside corner, 1-2. Curve down low into the dirt, 2-2. Northern has scored runs in the last 2 innings to get themselves back in the ball game. It's 3-2. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Chris Ward registers his 6th strikeout of the day as Brian Weiss strikes out. That's 1 down. And coming up, catcher Don Duman. Down first time up, struck out for Northern. Strike one, swing and a miss. Northern that second inning led up with the 3 straight hits. Did get 1 run in, but with the bases loaded, couldn't score anymore. Pitch down low, ball 1-1. Did come up with a run in the third inning, 3-2, bottom of the fourth. It's a 7-inning ball game. Chris Ward delivers, strike 2. 1-2. Chris Ward delivers to catcher Sepos and strikes him out. And that's the 7th strikeout of the day now for Chris Ward. And we're in the 4th inning. 2 down. And coming up, center fielder Matt Gladchen. Matt with a fine piece of batting last time around, working Chris Ward for the walk after fouling off a number of pitches after being in the hole. Walked and loaded the bases, but to no avail as the next batter was out. And 3 runners were left on base. 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th. Chris Ward ahead of Matt Gladchen, 0-1. Second pitch, down in the dirt, 1-1. Playing a fairly good. Pitch up high, 2-1. Matt batting in the number 9 position. On deck is the leadoff hitter Mike Sly. Towards right field. Hewitt has trouble with it, and that wind took it away from him. And it's going to be a base hit for Matt Gladchen as he stops at second. We mentioned that wind is blowing out to right, and if somebody could get it up in the air. And Hewitt had trouble with it, ended up going over his head. So with 2 out, Gladchen's on second in scoring position, and pitcher Mike Sly again with a chance to help his own cause. First pitch, swing and a miss. Mike has grounded out twice, grounding out short to first and second to first in the first 2 innings. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Chris Ward, after striking out the first 2 batters, infield fly. Let's see who's going to call it. At second, Andy Cole comes up with it, and we have completed 4 innings of play for the Huskies. No runs on 1 hit. 4 complete innings of play. Port Huron High 3, Port Huron Northern 2. We'll be back with the top of the 5th right after this.
As a member of a railroading family, I know what a 200-ton locomotive can do to a family car. So what you have to do is look, listen, and live.
Recapping the bottom of the 4th inning for Port Huron Northern after 2 strikeouts, Matt Gladchen with a wind-blown double, but he was stranded at second as Mike Sly grounded out or popped out to the second baseman. So at the end of 4 innings of play, Port Huron High continues to lead in the ball game 3-2. And coming up to the plate now is center fielder Aaron Carpenter. Aaron with a sharp single to left his first time up. He flew out to center field second time up. He's 1 for 2 on the day as he takes the first pitch from Mike Sly, and will get by. Nice play by Smith. Comes up with it and throws him out at first. Good play by second baseman Eric Smith, diving to smother the ball. Got up and made the throw to Kirk Conley, and Aaron Carpenter is out for 3, and there's 1 down. Next up for the Big Reds is third baseman Matt Scheffler. Matt's been up twice, only 1 official at bat with a double first time up, a ground rule double at that. It was a right pitch second time up. As he takes the first offering from Sly, it's down into the dirt. Ball 1. Nice effort by second baseman Eric Smith to come up with the ball and to take his time and get the throw over to first baseman Conley. Carpenter hustling down the line, made it a very close play at first, but it was an out. And Matt Scheffler's up, 1 out. Curve crosses the plate, 1-1. Scheffler with a sharp double first time up, actually hit it too good because it ended up going under the fence, and it was ruled a ground rule double. Otherwise, Aaron Carpenter would have scored. Slide delivers, pitch up high. 2-1 to count. We're in the 5th inning. Port Huron High leads by 1, 3-2. Big Reds coming up with 3 unearned runs in the top of the 2nd inning. Help of 4 Northern errors. 2-1 delivery. Strike 2. So 2-2 the count. 1 out. Scheffler batting in the number 4 spot for the Big Reds. He'll be followed by catcher Dave Seppo. As we said, Scheffler with just the one official at bat, the single. He was hit by the pitch second time up. Next pitch down low. Goes all the way back to the fence. So it's a full count now. White Sly working for Northern. Up to this point has got 5 strikeouts in the contest as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Full count delivery to Scheffler. And he draws the walk. And with 1 out, the Big Reds have got a man on first. And catcher Dave Seppo coming to the plate. I'm going to double check my stats here. I believe that's the first walk of the day. I'll check that. Second walk. Dupuis walked to lead off the 2nd inning for Port Huron High. So the second walk of the day given up by Sly. Seppo shows bunt, doesn't, and gets a called strike. Scheffler on first. He's been on base all 3 times now that he's been up. Catcher Dave Seppo showed bunt first time, throw over to first. (3-2), top of the 5th inning. Count is 1 strike on Dave Seppo. To third, could be a double play. And Scheffler goes in hard to Smith at second. And they get the lead runner. So it'll be a fielder's choice for Seppo. And Matt Scheffler is forced at second. Seppo's at first. And coming up is the DH, Brian Dupuis.
The designated hitter, number 16, Brian Dupuis, the hitter. Ratchy in the hole. Point.
It's a meeting now between Coach Hilliker and umpire Marcus Williams. I think we're going to get a runner for Seppo, probably with a re-entry so that he can get his gear on. And interesting, on the college level, it's just automatic. It's about all the time it seems like anyway. They have a courtesy runner to try to speed the game up. So Landshut will run for Seppo. Jason Landshut. Brian Dupuis is up. Brian, the DH, walked first time up, struck out second time. Unofficial at bat, 0 for 1. Sly throws back, throws over to first. We've got 2 down. Landshut is running for Dave Seppo, who was safe on the fielder's choice. Murphy had a little trouble getting the ball out of his glove, but it, again, would have been a tough play. It was not a hard hit ball to third base. Made the right play in getting the runner out at second. Again, a throw over to first. Landshut is back. There's 2 out. We're in the top of the 5th. And the Big Reds lead the Huskies by 1, 3-2. Mike Sly delivers, pitch outside. Newman knocks it down. Where it was delivered, it almost looked like it was a pitch out, but Duman did not jump out as if to indicate a pitch out. 1 ball. Landshut running for Seppo at first. Sly delivers. Ball out of play. Count goes to 1-1. There's 2 down. Top of the 5th inning here at the baseball diamond at Port Huron Northern High School. Softball going on at the other diamond. And I think the track action that we alluded to earlier was track practice, but they were out here using the track. Brian Dupuis, count of 1-1. Land shoot, gets back safely to first. Sly keeping an eye on land shoot. And maybe with the 2 outs, something might be in the works. Dupuis, ball down low. There's going to be a play at second. And the ball gets away from Murphy. Land shoot moves down to second. Newman had a little trouble coming up with it and still made a strong throw down to second, but Murphy couldn't hang on. And Landshut goes into second. Count is 2-1. The Big Reds now with a runner in scoring position. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 out here in the top of the 5th. Mike Sly's gone all the way for the Northern Huskies. He struck out 5 at this point, walked 2. Landshut is the courtesy runner for catcher Dave Seppo. He's on second for the Big Reds. Dupuis fouls it off. Count goes to 2-2. Once again, we got a bunch of 2s up on the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Visiting half of the 5th inning. Mike Sly working from the stretch with the runner on second. That's Landshut. Pitch, too short. Murphy comes up with it. Long throw across. He's got him. And the Big Reds, despite the runner in scoring position, come up empty. And we've played 4.5 innings, and the score remains Port Huron High 3, Port Huron Northern 2. Bottom half of the 5th coming up right after this.
Hush, little baby, don't say a
Last
word.
year, thousands of innocent children were caught in the crossfire of violent crime. And it's not just the children who suffer. How much longer will you let this go on? Call this number now. We'll send you information on how you can protect your children from crime and drugs in your neighborhood. Together, we will take a bite out of crime.
This is you and this is me.
Last year, thousands of innocent children were caught in the crossfire of violent crime. How much longer will you let this go on? Call this number now. We'll send you information on how you can protect your children from crime in your neighborhood. Together, we will take a bite out of crime.
On the bottom half of the 5th inning, and for Port Huron Northern, the man who made the nice play for the Huskies in that top half of the 5th, Eric Smith, will lead off. To recap, for Port Huron High in the top of the 5th, no runs on no hits, 1 runner left on base. And at the end of 4.5, it's Port Huron High 3, Northern 2, and the second baseman, Eric Smith, comes to the plate. Eric with a nice play on Aaron Carpenter. Diving to smother the ball and throw him out at first. First pitch is a ball. Eric on the day has got a couple of strikeouts. 2 of the 7 registered by Chris Ward. Fouls that one off. Count goes to 1-1. Eric Smith leading off. He'll be followed by Todd Murphy and then Brian Murphy. In the home half of the 5th for the Northern Huskies. They trail in the game by 1. They've come up with single runs in the 2nd and 3rd, following 3 runs for the Big Reds in the top of the 2nd. Chris Ward on the mound for the Big Reds, delivers a strike on the inside corner, and the count goes to 1-2. The wind still blowing rather strong here at Port Huron Northern, And Smith strikes out. Ball gets away from catcher Seppo. He throws him out at first. So for the third time today, Eric Smith is struck out. That's 8 strikeouts now for Chris Ward. Todd Murphy coming up to the plate now for the Northern Huskies. Todd with a single and 2 trips to the plate, scored a run in the 3rd inning. After singling, stole second base, moved on to 3rd, and scored in the single by Conley. Again, a fly ball to right field over Hewitt's head. And it's going to be at least 2. He's going to be going for 3. And let's see if we're going to go any further. He's going to come home. We're going to have a play at the plate. The ball gets away from the cutoff man, and you can chalk it up as a home run for Todd Murphy. And we've got a tie ball game. Well, just what we were talking about early in the contest, if somebody could get one up in the air, and it was going to go a long way, and it got up in the air and way beyond Jim Hewitt, and Todd Murphy touches them all, and here in the bottom of the 5th, we're all tied up now at 3. And Brian Murphy comes up. Brian is also 1 for 2. Brian got a single in the 2nd inning, was out 2nd to 1st in the 3rd. His 3rd time to the plate. All knocked foul. Strike 1. So Todd Murphy brought the crowd to its feet with a home run. Of course, there's no fence here at Northern, so you got to run them all out, and he did. Ball is up in the air again to right field, and Hewitt won't come up with it. It'll be a single for Brian Murphy. So Brian Murphy picks up his 2nd hit of the day, and up steps Kirk Conley. Kirk Conley has got himself a couple of base hits for Portier and Northern. Got an RBI in the 3rd inning. We're tied at 3 now, and with 1 out, Brian Murphy's at first. Oh, nice job by Tony Bloink. He got his body in front of it, stopping the ball from getting behind him. Brian Murphy, first time up with a single, stole second on the very first pitch. This time takes a look. Ball is down low. Ball 1. Murphy checking the signals, as is Eric Smith. Eric with 2 hits on the day. He's 2 for 2. Bottom of the 5th, we're all tied up. Murphy goes, ball down in the dirt. And Brian Murphy down into 2nd with the stolen base. So another stolen base, 2nd one of the day for Brian Murphy. And it's the ball, so the count goes to 2-0. And Chris Ward has got himself into some trouble here now, as Brian Murphy goes down to 2nd. Conley, right back up the middle, and they finally hold him up at 3rd. I thought for a second that maybe Murphy was going to try to make it. The coach, Larry Klink, holds him up, and Conley picks up his 3rd hit of the day. And for Portier and Northern, men at 1st and 3rd. And the Huskies threatening to go ahead here now. 1 out, men at 1st and 3rd, and coach for the Big Reds, Dick Hilliger, calls for timeout and moves out to the mound. So following the strikeout, it was Todd Murphy with a long home run tying up the ball game. Brian Murphy with a single, stole 2nd, went over to 3rd on the single by Kirk Conley. So we've got men at 1st and 3rd.
Now a pinch running for Conley.
We're going to get a pinch runner for Conley at 1st. Moving down to 1st is number 14, Bill Baldazar. So Baldazar will be running for Conley, who just picked up his 3rd hit of the day. Coach Hilliker is still conferring with Chris Ward and catcher Dave Seppo. We've got one out here in the bottom of the fifth. Northern has one run in on the home run by Todd Murphy. They've got two men on at first and third. At first is Baldassar running for Conley. And over at third is Brian Murphy. Kirk Conley's had quite a day with 3 for 3 and an RBI. Ward will stay in. Left fielder Jeff Land steps in. Jeff with a single and an RBI. He struck out his last time up. Ward delivers, pitch on the inside. Seppo looks down at third. In the second inning, Port Huron Northern had 3 straight hits, the third one coming off the bat of this batter right here, Jeff Land, knocking in the first run for the Huskies. Chris Ward delivers. Base hit. Another run will come in. A sharp hit to center field for Jeff Land. And Port Huron Northern, for the first time today, takes the lead in the contest. Jeff Land with his second RBI. And Baldassar goes down to second. And Brian Murphy scores. That's the second run in this inning. And that brings Jake Hilliker out to the mound, and that's automatic. Chris Ward is out of the ballgame now for the Big Reds. So we're going to get some player changes. Let's see who's going where. I believe Matt Scheffler's coming in to pitch. And moving over to third base will be number 8, Jim Tuffin. So to recap here, Eric Smith led off the inning with a strikeout. But then Todd Murphy stepped to the plate and lifted a high fly deep to right field, got over right fielder Jim Hewitt's head. He was able to touch all 4. He scored. That tied up the game. Brian Murphy quickly with a single, stole second. Kirk Conley with a single. And then Jeff Land coming up with another hit. And Port Huron Northern has gone out ahead 4-3 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. They've got 2 runs in. And indeed it is Matt Scheffler coming into pitch now. Moving in from the third base position to pitch for Port Huron High. And moving to third, as we said, is Jim Tuffin.
Number 20, third baseman, Matt Scheffler.
So Tuffin will go into the number 6 position, but they were using a DH in that position, Brian Dupuis.
Tuffin at third base for the Big Reds.
And of course, Scheffler stays in the lineup batting 4th as he was playing 3rd. So there's 1 out, and Northern still with the 2 runners on. Runners at first and second. And Brian Weiss will go to the plate for Port Huron Northern when play resumes. Brian feeling a little bit like target practice back here as Matt Scheffler lets a couple of them fly by Dave Seppo. Northern with 2 runs in, still 2 runners at the plate, or on bases, and at the plate is Brian Weiss with just 1 out. Coach Dick Hilliker out there with Matt Scheffler as he warms up. So Northern with 2 runs in. Scheffler comes in from third base to pitch, and coming off the bench going to third base is number 8, Jim Tuffin. Matt Scheffler says he's all set to go. Coach Hilliker comes off the field, gives his change. He's going to be giving his changes now to umpire Marcus Williams. And number 11, Brian Weiss, will step to the plate. Brian has been up twice and has struck out twice. Chris Ward is still responsible for the runners at second and first. If they were to come in, he would be charged with those runners. Now Coach Hilliker coming over to Coach Clint letting him know, or to the northern bench. bench, letting them know what the changes are. So there's one out. Scheffler set to deliver his first pitch for the Big Reds. He does. Pitch up high. Ball one to Brian Weiss. Northern with 2 runs in. They lead in the contest now 4-3. Scheffler delivers. Curve. Strike. 1-1. Runners at first and second for Northern. They've got 2 runs in. They've gone ahead by 1 run in the contest. Scheffler pitch high and inside. 2-1. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Portier Northern High School, the location. Scheffler delivers. Foul out of play. Count goes to 2-2. Baldassar down at second. Running for Conley. Jeff Land at first. Matt Scheffler in relief of Chris Ward for the Big Reds. Pitch to Weiss, strikes him out. And for the 3rd time today, Brian Weiss goes down swinging. And that makes it 2 outs now for Northern, as catcher Don Duman comes to the plate. Duman been up twice and struck out twice. Scheffler delivers. Pitch up high, ball 1. Scheffler checks the runner. Curve, down low, strike. 1-1. Two down, 2 runners on. 1-1 the count to Duman. Scheffler delivers. Curve, called strike. On the outside corner, 1-2. Northern has 2 runs in. One on the home run by Todd Murphy. Another on the RBI single by Jeff Land, his 2nd RBI of the day. Strike 3. And that's it for Portier Northern. They pick up 2 runs on 3 hits, and at the end of 5 innings of play, it's Portier Northern now leading in the contest 4-3. We'll be back with the top of the 6th right after this.
The Huskies 4, the Big Reds